Good morning, guys. It is June 29th, Sunday morning, and today we are reviewing a car that I bought last week. It's one of those cars that I feel I've always wanted to own and didn't know when it was going to show up. I got a great deal on one, so here she is. We have ourselves a 2000 Honda Civic Type R, known as the EK9. This is one of those cars that I always wanted, but never really admitted it, you know, coming from Subarus and Nissans and stuff like that. I always had a love for the CTR, but never really went for it. And now that they're legal, I had to get my hands on it. As you guys know, the whole objective of this was to buy and drive every single car that I've always wanted, essentially. And this is definitely high up on the list. So this, along with obviously like a 98 ITR, would be ideal. But yeah, we're just gonna go over this car real quick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and drive it, do like some city driving while I speak about it and how I feel about it, and then just a little raw POV. That way you guys can just kind of take in what the car is really about. And then after that, I'll just sum it up. So I hope I do a good enough job of reviewing this car, because it is special and I do like it a lot. And I'm not a car reviewer, but I just want to share this car with you guys while I have my chance to own it. Starting with the exterior, this car is pretty much in stock trim. So the only thing that's really aftermarket on the exterior is the carbon front lip. So that's really the only thing done to it cosmetically, as well as wheels. This is a factory trim championship white Civic Type R. So it does have the updated front end. So these cars came out in 97. So 97 and 98 have a slightly different front end. And then the 99 and 2000s have a bit of an updated type of front end. It's sitting on P1 wheel, so just a typical lightweight, you know, front wheel drive type of wheel. It has factory side skirts that come on it, a factory rear valence. Other than that, the outside is factory trim. So I will say, in person, this car has a good bit of presence. So a lot of the times, you know, we see all these cars online and we think we know them, but then once you actually see them in person, a lot of their character really comes out. And I think the Civic Type R does that, where it's not even close to looking like a regular Civic, even though it is. It's just those couple little parts that we always had to import to put on our cars, or said we didn't need. This car comes with them factory, and there's something about a car that comes in a factory trim that's nice, that is just appealing when everything fits nice and works well. So that's the exterior as far as that goes. The interior is actually really good. So it does a great job of making you feel like you're in something special. So obviously the red Recaros are factory, so they are a variant of the SP3, but factory red Recaros in the car. The door cards have a matching material, so that's really solid. As far as the actual interior goes, it's pretty similar to a standard Civic. Now, the cluster is a cluster that we all love. So it's known for having those yellow needles and saying CTR on it. And of course, the red line starts right at 8,400. So interior is super good on the car. This car in particular has a pretty clean interior for what it is. And then the back, you know, you have your standard back seats and things like that. But overall, super nice setup. You actually sit a lot lower than you would imagine in this car. So I was thinking it was going to give like that economy car type of seating position, but you actually sit super low in the car, where I actually can't see too much over the dash. Normal, I'm about 5'9", so I thought that was pretty surprising that it has such a like sport type inspired seating position in the car. But they definitely do a good job of making you feel like you're in something special as soon as you jump into it. Typically every car has something that makes it special or stand out. I feel like the Civic Type R has a lot of things that make it stand out, from, you know, the exterior parts to the interior, and kind of always having those OEM elusive parts that we would like to have on our USDM cars. But the main star would be the engine. So obviously, you know, while under my ownership, I'm going to get this all cleaned up and repowder coat everything. But this car from factory has a B16B engine. So the B16B is essentially very similar to the motor that comes in the Integra Type R, which is a B18C. what they did was specific for the Civic Type R. They pretty much de-stroke it down to a 1.6 with a smaller stroke, and they do that way the engine can be slightly smoother and rev higher. So this car from the factory makes right around like 185 horsepower. It makes 185 at 8,200 RPM, so right at the top, and it revs to 8,400. It doesn't make much torque at all. It makes like, I think 111, 112 pound-feet of torque, which is not much. But typically you want to drive the car high up in the power band anyway. So once the car is over, 6,000, 7,000, that's when it really starts to come alive. And it does inspire you to drive it up there. So it's not really an issue that it doesn't make much torque. And the car overall weighs right about like 2,300 pounds. So 2,300 pounds, 185 horsepower is probably somewhere in the mid to low 14-second range for quarter mile on a car. And then as far as it goes for other performance mods, this car is pretty much the typical Japanese setup. So you just run some nice brake pads, you put it on a nice lightweight wheel, you throw coilovers on it, you throw an exhaust on it, and you leave it alone, and you pretty much just go to the track with it as much as you can. But just really thinking back in 2000, you could have went to the Honda dealer and bought one of these brand new off the lot and revved it to 8,400 RPM as you leave is actually pretty incredible. But as good as it looks and drives, obviously I could show you guys this car all day. I do love it. What I'm gonna do is just put the POV cam on, and I'm just gonna go drive it. So I'll try to set up the mic somewhere where the exhaust isn't super loud. But yeah, we'll just go cruise it around. I'll talk some more about it, like how I ended up acquiring the car, what I paid for it, and things like that while I drive it around town for like, a couple minutes. And then after that, I'll just do like a raw POV drive, and I'll try to get as much character as possible. So I'll try to be able to rev it out for you guys and drive it a bit more aggressively. Obviously I'm on local roads, so I can't go too crazy, but I'll do my best. Yeah, so let's go for a drive real quick. All right guys, we are on the POV setup. So I have the mic attached to me, not to the car. Should be pretty good sound, if I had to guess. So yeah, start her up real quick. That's what we got. It's pretty quiet at idle, and it's pretty good on tone until you get to about like 5,000-6,000 RPM, where you do get that crossover on it. But overall, definitely okay for some street driving. So seat position is actually really good in the car. So you sit low, you sit aggressive, you got good decel sound. So yeah, pretty solid setup. The car feels very much strong, if I had to describe any other way. I obviously drive a lot of the Nissan type of imports, like the S15s, and those cars feel like they are an improvement on the previous generation. So an S15 feels better than an S14, right? With this, it's different. It's like Honda really put their time into trying to make the best car possible that was in its own category, rather than trying to compete, right? They just wanted to see what they could do from an engineering perspective that they could offer to the public, and I think they did great. So let's give her a quick rev. So there you go, quick 1-2 in the car. Feels good, revs high. From a material standpoint, obviously it's from the 90s, but everything feels really solid. There's like no squeaks or crazy rattles or anything like that compared to a lot of other cars I've driven. And this one's well taken care of. So this car has a little bit more kilometers than the typical car. So this has 238,000 kilometers, which is about 150,000 miles. So again, not bad for a car that's, approaching being 26 years old. Price-wise, these cars range. So I'd say like an example that has a good bit of mileage on it in Japan is probably anywhere from about 18 to 20,000 at auction, plus obviously all of the money that goes into importing it as far as shipping goes and making it legal. So yeah, that's probably where you're gonna be for one of these, around like mid-20s. If you want something that's collector grade, something that has like 50,000 kilometers or something like that, that's mint and perfectly stock. For these cars right now, you're gonna have to pay up. Those things are anywhere from, you know, $40,000, $50,000 for a Civic Type R that is, I'd say, collector grade, especially if you want a yellow one. The yellow ones go for a bunch of money. You can get a silver Type R for probably the cheapest if you want to go the silver route. But obviously, I'd say yellow is the most desirable, and white is probably the most iconic. So if you probably owned one of these in Grand Turismo, you likely had a white one with the factory white wheels on it that look super good. But this car's always fun. So any application that you have, you can get into the revs. So 5,000, 6,000, it feels good. It opens up right around 6, but you just keep it right around there. Steering input, super good. The engine is incredible, so very, very responsive. Its compression ratio is 10:8:1, so that's why the car always feels lively. But again, you know, really under 5,000, you have no power. Then you have your VTEC crossover right at like 62, 6,400, where the car actually starts to wake up and feel good. But yeah, turning wise, it does have a double wishbone setup, so you do get a lot of turn in response, and it feels like a quality car to throw into the turns. Obviously, we can't really show that in this driving, but yeah, it's super good. We will be taking it to the track, so once I get it all dialed in, I'm going to take it to Sebring. That way I can really open it up, and obviously I'll make a vlog of that. But yeah, this is pretty much everyday type of living with the Civic Type R. Like right there, I take off in third gear in the car, you can tell it's super flat on torque, but that's not what it's about. You know, you're not supposed to be lugging this car around. This car is supposed to be driven spirited at high RPM where it wants to be, so it's completely normal for it to do that. And the car makes it very easy for you to adapt to what it likes. You know, it's not a hard car to tame by any means, so, you know, just drive it where it wants to be driven. And, you know, with this whole journey of being a car enthusiast, you have to realize where the car does well and use it for that purpose. So obviously I'm not going to take this car like trying to roll race or keep up with crazy cars or anything like that. This is a car that shines at the track, that shines at high RPM, and does what it likes to do during, you know, turning mostly, and having a good bit of acceleration on the way out of these turns. So you just obviously have to use it for what it's used for. If I want to go fast, I would get a fast car, right? If I want to have fun, I would drive this. So I don't have any complaints about this car. It is exactly what it's supposed to be, and that's, you know, really mostly the summary. So I'm gonna switch now more to a raw POV drive, so I won't be talking anymore. So we'll just go for a quick cruise, and I'll, you know, cut out some highlights of that drive, and then I will park up somewhere else and just kind of film like a little outro and see how it goes from there. So there you go, guys. That was some driving impressions. I did my best to kind of capture what the car's about. Obviously that's pretty hard on, you know, local public roads, but like I said, sometime this month I'm gonna book a day at Sebring. That way I can take the car out and really enjoy it, open it up, and give you guys a proper video of how the car performs and what it's really all about. But yeah, for now, this is the Civic Type R. Plans for this car are pretty much the same as the plans for all my cars. I want to, one, own it, so that's checked off. I want to experience it, drive it, and make improvements. So I will be getting the wheels repowder coated. That way they're nice, mint, brand new, and look really good. I'm going to get the valve cover, strut bar, all that powder coated a fresh wrinkle red. That way the car looks good. Do a really nice overall detail on it. That way it's as pristine as possible for what it is. And then ultimately, like I said, take it to the track. That way I get to really see what the Civic Type R is all about. And then after that, I will probably post it for sale. So I do want one of these again in the future as like more of a keeper, but I want one that is a little bit more special, if that makes sense. So being that these cars are known for Canjo and doing all that kind of stuff, I want to find a used one that's in perfect condition, and I want it to have a spoon engine. So I want a 10,000 RPM or 11,000 RPM built spoon engine Civic Type R, and if I get my hands on one of those, that will be the keeper. So the point is to go through these cars, have fun with them, make videos, make content, experience them. That way I can speak from an educated standpoint when I talk about these cars, and then ultimately eventually build my own little dream setup of owning what I would consider the best version of each car and its prospective discipline. So I believe this car deserves to have an 11,000 RPM spoon engine, crazy suspension setup, insane wheel setup, perfect tires, and it should be taken out at random, you know, mostly to the track when you want to have fun in something that's a bit low risk, easy to control, and yeah, something you can just drive flat out and really improve your driving instead of having a car that's better than you are. I think this car can be mastered. I think I can work on a lot of driving techniques, a lot of footwork, a lot of handwork with this car. So that's what I'm going to do in the meantime. And then once she's perfect, proven, properly vetted, she will be up for sale. So yeah, that is a Civic Type R video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll take some POVs in it as well. And I also have an S13 that I bought to do the POV. And then I have another S15 that I did a lot of work on that I want to do a full video on. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. Peace.